GM. Welcome to episode 5 of Fantasy Talk Live. I am your host, Carpenter of Web3. Alongside me today, special guest, founder of Ethos, and new hero, Serpin. Taxt, how are you?
I'm doing great. I don't know if I'd call myself a hero, although that's technically what it's called in Fantasy Top. I got long way to go to prove that I'm an actual hero in Fantasy Top, right?
Yeah, you were saying in the green room that kind of people are saying that you're not tweeting enough or something this morning.
Oh, just this morning, yeah. Well, last week is a great start. Last week I had a couple of things lined up I wanted to talk about, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm pretty good at scheduling my tweets too. Yesterday I was caught up in running stuff for the fund and did not line stuff up, and then I was in meetings from 9 till noon, which is pretty rare for me. So people were probably like, what the fuck happened to him?
Yeah, I know, because we had the first episode of so it's the official third weekly which is a fantasy show, which is I'm having a brain fart. It's kind of been a long morning. It's Fantasy Countdown with myself, Silva, 710, and then eventually HK will come on when he's done with the work in about a month. But we were sitting there, and as we were doing it's 30 minutes before and then 30 minutes after the tournament. And the 30 minutes after, we kind of do on the ticker at the bottom, we'll put who's on the board. And I kept waiting and refreshing your page. I'm like, when's Serp gonna be on? When's Serp gonna be on? And then I kind of see in the comments no Serp. And I was like, oh god. It was 10 minutes in. I was like, we have a lot of time, guys. I can't imagine. What's it like being a hero? I know it's your second week, but yeah.
Right now, I haven't really thought anything else of it. I mean, it's cool. I always like the private chats with some of the players, and it's good to chat with people. And I mean, I had a good week last week, right? I was flexing on people. I was saying you guys should have played me, because I did really well. I had one tweet with 400,000 views on it, and a couple thousand likes, I think, on it. And then I had one over the weekend too that had 300,000 views. So it doesn't count for shit. I think it would be interesting if it changes my perspective on how to tweet. I mean, I already have a vested interest in tweeting. It's pretty much my job. I sit here and tweet all day, and it's not like I have another job, so it makes sense. I want to. I've always viewed the Fantasy Top thing as more of it's fun to watch people play football, but the people playing football don't really think about people watching them play football, if that makes sense, or gambling. You try not I'm sure as a football player, not oh, I give a shit about fantasy football, or I give a shit about my buddy who's betting on me. And I think that's the right way to think about it. And of course, I did also get people were mad at me for tweeting at 7 a.m. on Thursday morning. It tanked my score or something for the week. So there's a learning curve. I can still play into it, right? I can still play into it a little bit. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been good. I mean, obviously the community's been welcomed me with open arms, and it's been really fun to have something different to think about and talk about and be a part of.
Absolutely. It's definitely it was. I wish I probably still can go back and look and see because it was a vote-in system, right? Which I really liked, that they kind of put some power back into the community's hands. And there's definitely, I want to say yours was hands you won by the biggest margin. I know I threw all mine in yours.
It was mostly Otto. Otto he had 900,000 fans.
Did he give you all of his?
No, 900 million fans. He had a crazy number of that helps. And then he's been helping me with putting money into it too, and constructing some decks. So I've known.
So he's actually helping you. You see, what's funny is one of the segments I wanted to talk about here, which is actually perfect segue into it, is I noticed right when you became a hero, you started pumping, you were just buying some crazy things. You were burn.
Yeah, Otto helped me. Yeah. He was probably using me as exit liquidity, to be honest, but it's fine.
Because I thought you were going after him, you wanted to dethrone him. I didn't realize.
Yeah, he wouldn't give me all of his secrets. Yeah, there's no way he'd give me all the secrets. He did give me a list of people not to burn. He basically told me, go out and buy a bunch of sapphire packs, and and then use the sapphire packs. I got a couple of legendary pulls from the sapphire packs, which was nice. And then I burned all of the like rare cards that I didn't need. And yeah, it's funny. I forget that like, yeah, there's like a feed and people are like tagging me like, what the hell are you doing burning some of these cards? And I'm like, I don't know, man. You're like FAFO. I don't know. So yeah, but he's helping get things set up and get started on how to be somewhat competitive.
Yeah, you're like, man, it's crazy because like you came in and it kind of makes more sense now knowing that
Auto help me.
Otto was
Yeah.
kind of helping, but
Mhm.
there's like, especially in elite, like I farm elite, but I
Mhm.
don't have any epics. I like to stick with like rares are more liquid, even though
Mhm.
I'm not a trader and I'm just definitely a
Mhm.
player. But yeah, seeing how hard you went, and I was just like, man, we have a new contender. Like it's really excited, like for us players to
Mhm.
even watch like the elite, how it like turns down, like who's gonna dethrone Otto, because he was on like a
Auto.
9 week run of first place. Like it might
Really?
have been 10 actually. Yeah, and then he loses like one and he'll get second, but like, and usually in the top 10, he's always has like 2 or 3 decks in the top 10.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
last week
insane.
I what did I get? I got 32nd last week in the Elite League.
And that's your first
Pretty
time
good.
using your legendary, right?
Oh, I couldn't use my legendary. It was bugged, so I couldn't get my legendary before um we before the tournament started last
You have
week.
it now though?
I have it now, yeah.
Okay.
But like, yeah, I mean, if I had played that, I think I might have gotten first because no one was playing me. I had like, and I have a legendary version of it. It's like one of the best. For last week. It ended up being a really good card.
Oh man, that would have, yeah, you would have yeah, you definitely would, because you were doing good. And I was kind of looking, I didn't look at your deck, I was just kind of looking at your
Hmm.
score.
Hmm.
Because I wanted to talk about it, which we did talk about it on the Fantasy Hour last week, and then again on the deck building series with John
Hmm.
Wang this last Saturday. But it's, man. So if you don't mind me asking, who'd you play this week? Along with yourself, now that I'm assuming you played yourself.
Yeah, I'm playing myself every week. That'll be my fault and my oh, I'm 5 right now.
Woo,
Uh,
let's go.
yeah, I played my own legendary, Carbon legendary, Kaleo legendary. I have a Greg rare and a free epic. Yeah, they're all doing pretty well. I'm the laggard right now. I need to bang your tweet out there.
Same. Yeah, you have your Varel. Like I know there's some of the apps or the tools that are built on top of the API.
Hmm.
I believe they can see, like I know Multi, I almost guarantee you can find it. I'm just not very good at navigating it, aside for
Hmm.
what like little pieces I actually use. That you can see like a hero's like virality percentage or how
Hmm.
often their tweets can. I think yours has to be really high, especially with the sample size. Because last week,
Yeah,
like you were hitting high, like about, I want to say every few tweets are going viral,
yeah.
especially compared to your followers.
Yeah. I'm looking at my own stats right now, and they're not great today. It's terrible actually. Um,
It's still early.
I haven't had any time to tweet. It's like I don't want to get in my own head about it. I don't really care that much, but I
Yep.
want to perform for people, right? Like it's the same thing as like if you're a football player, I'm not, but if you're a football player, like you want to do well for people, right? You want to make people happy. You want to, but yeah. Anyways,
And it's funny. Hoping Actually, what I'm going to say, I'm hoping if the Clippers clip, and if not, I'll clip it myself, and send it to ICO and Vo and everyone. But so
mhm,
ICO, Vo, I know Star Platinum, and I think last I knew there was a fourth. I don't know who the fourth is, but they're
mhm,
heroes they're good heroes that
mhm,
all kind of like help each other, right?
mhm,
Because like how InfoFi or PunFi is
right,
what they
mhm,
named it as, is if like you comment on another hero comments, so you guys are helping each other because
right,
you guys are all big, and
mhm.
they're all kind of like buddies, and they all talk, and they have a group chat where they're sharing each other's stuff. I
I'm
think
not in the cabal yet. No one
you
invited
need to
me
be
into
in
that
there.
cabal. Yeah, what the
That's
hell?
what we need. We need Serp in there, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna push really hard to get you in there because, like I said, I had bids out on your comment. I'm gonna do with you what I
Mhm,
did with Serpent, or you are Serpent. What I did with Star,
mhm,
and I pulled one of yours and I pulled one of Stars, like when he first became a hero. And then I
mhm.
started bidding on to Wednesdays and Thursdays, and just bid super like as low as they would sell for.
Right.
and I would just be really patient. It's like been, well over 2 months now, and I have four of his. I'm hoping yours accumulates faster, so I want to make you guys both rares.
Mhm.
But yeah, one because I know you both, two because you guys are really good heroes, and
Yeah.
it's so yeah, I'm definitely gonna be pushing to get you in that ICO bow
Yeah,
star little cabal thing.
get me in the cabal. Yeah, Otto's crazy, man. 81 million points, fan points.
So good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I love DMing with the guy. He's really smart, and he's a big altcoin maxi, like a alt season maxi, like myself. So
Mhm.
I like him a lot, and it's nuts. Like I can't wait until the day when like there'll be a tournament where you beat him.
Yeah, and he's gonna be pissed
And
about it, but it'll be on something random. It'll be because I have my own legendary or something. I'll
yep,
get like
yep,
one tweet with 1 million views or something, one viral million view tweet.
absolutely. And so, are you still? Because like I'm part of for those who don't know like I am part of I'm the content slash academy lead for fantasy top. That being said, nothing that is said by myself or Serpentax on this show is to be depicted as from the fantasy top team. This is content separate and combined in a sense, but nothing should be taken as from the core team. But that being said, so are you still working? 'Cause I don't know a lot about like the partnerships and stuff. Is Ethos still working with Fantasy?
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of like working together and stuff?
we talk to the team all the time. I think the thing we've been trying to figure out is like where are the most complementary places that we could work together on. And if it's interesting, and I'll talk more openly about like partnerships in Web3 in general. Uh, yeah, dude, I get like 3 or 4 Telegram messages a day that's like, "Hey, we should do this together," and you're like, "I don't know who you are," like, and then half the time it's like, "Yeah, here's a Calendly link. Can we talk?" And you're like, "But I don't know what you want." And I went back to the fantasy team set. It's 710, right? Not 711, 710,
Yeah, it's
right?
710.
710. I'm like, why is this? I think 711. I went back to 710. I'm like, all right, dude, like, well, we should talk about this, right? Like, what is most beneficial to you? What do you want to get out of a partnership or a relationship? It's not an official thing. It's like, how do you want to work together? What would benefit you? And then what would benefit us? Like, how do we mutually benefit each other? And, a lot of times it's as simple as like, oh, well, like we both drove awareness to each other's product from different niches and groups. And we've got plenty of overlap right now. Like most of the people you see on the fantasy top leaderboard as players have active roles within ethos and play ethos. They use ethos, contribute to ethos. And I had thought about plenty of things in the past, like, well, what if we brought ethos scores into fantasy top? You're like, it's not really that helpful, to be honest. Like, you are playing on someone's ability to drive attention to themselves. It doesn't really, like, reputation doesn't really matter as much there. And no one's gonna like avoid buying Kook Capital's card because he's untrusted on ethos, right? Like, everyone knows that he can still drive attention to himself. So I never really felt like it was that helpful of a like way to integrate. We've got our fantasy top leaderboard on ethos, and we've tried to find like simple stuff like that. I think there could be some really interesting stuff that we could do in the future, like maybe there's a multiplier of reputation, and when you play, it's like a different type of deck that you play, or a different type of competition that is weighted by reputation. And so like the most
That'd be
reputable,
cool.
yeah, I mean, I would win because I have my own card, the
Yeah,
highest
exactly.
score. But like, it would be interesting to do something like that, where like instead of stars, you had to fit a certain amount of reputation in. So instead of like, I forget how many stars do you get in some of them, like 18 stars or whatever, right?
Bronze, yeah.
Yeah, imagine if instead it was like, no, actually, it's you get a maximum of 10,000 ethos score. And so then everyone would play Kook because he has a really low score. Uh,
Yeah.
and then no one would play me because I'd be
Because
too
you were
high of a
so
score.
high.
Right. So like I think there's some interesting things that we could add to the game mechanics that are just fun. I mean, like even look at like the Zed tournament going on right now, right? Like giving some awards, drive awareness back to Zed. It's kind of like a little bit of an advertisement. Um, so funny, Zed Run, it's like such a throwback. Um,
Yeah.
and I think there are ways that we could work together like that. I mean, if you go back and look at Fantasy Top, like Fantasy Top and Ethos were both kind of built off the back of Friend Tech in a few different ways. Actually, from like similar groups, like not a lot of people know it, but like Travis is was like close with CBB early on, and Travis and like I remember the very first iteration of Fantasy Top's website, and it was like, working with, advised by, and it's like Manifold Trading and CBB, and like there were some names there, and they were just really, really early. And that was like right when we were starting to build Ethos out. It's just that Travis and team are really good at like building stuff fast. They went way faster than us. And I got the deal flow to invest in Fantasy Top, and like it was it's cool that we come from kind of similar origins. And like I knew 710 from way before Fantasy Top too. So like I think there's a lot of natural overlap. I tweeted last week, like as a builder, you really want to support all of their builders. Like it's in your best interest, honestly, to be a supportive founder of other founders in the space, unless like someone is like, legitimately screwing people over. Like as builders, it's not zero sum. We can all win together. We should all win together, right? And sometimes that means doing stuff like, tweeting something or helping a guy out that, like Cerebro is a good example. Like Mav came to me early on. They integrated the Ethos scores. I was happy to support them from a marketing narrative. And now Ethos has 250 whitelist spots for Cerebro, and people are super excited about it. And so like there's also this concept of like investing in like successful teams around you, kind of in those partnerships and relationships. So I know that wasn't exactly what you were asking, but just something that I think about when I think about working with Fantasy Top is like, we want to be supportive of each other, right? The only one I'll throw under the bus is like the story protocol over the weekends. Like you're like there, yeah. Sometimes I can't relate. I'm not on the same level, so I'm happy to be like questioning founders like that. But when it comes to us in the trenches, like we come from very similar backgrounds in terms of where our product originated from, and I think we all have a vested interest in supporting each other.
Absolutely. And one thing I was thinking of, which I don't remember, I believe Ethos does have something to do with like the clout leaderboard and stuff. Because like a lot of people when they think about fantasy, and I made a tweet about it a while ago. And I kind of hint at it every once in a while, like about it being fantasy being an onion, and like the more you peel, the more you find, and all this stuff. And like when they realize it's more than just a game, because a lot of people just see the game, right? And there's like even with the Z Champions thing, it is like kind of leaning into that, right? More of the like clout aspect of it, the game within a game. And I think that's like where Ethos and like really has a big thing, right? Is with like clout, like the leaderboard, the mind share,
right?
And because really no one's doing what Ethos is. And
Yeah,
if they are, they're not big enough to do it as big as you guys are, because you guys are doing it really, really, really well.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I've always like had this argument of like influence equals attention plus reputation. And so you can be influential with a lot of attention and even have negative reputation. You can also be extremely reputable and have very little ability to drive attention to yourself. And I feel like that is the next layer for a lot of the like InfoFi products, or if you look at Cloud or Cookie or Kaido, like you can tell, or I can tell, and obviously I'm biased, but they're missing the reputation part of that equation, and they only measure attention. The reputation part is actually really impactful, whether it be, I don't think is as fair to remove a lot of influence from someone because they have a negative reputation, because they still have influence. But rather to promote people that are very reputable, that don't have as much influence. Because what you don't realize is they actually do have that influence. They just don't have much ability to drive attention to themselves. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that is a next step that a lot of people will take as they push on this concept of like being able to measure attention and quantify it. It will be better when compounded with reputation.
And that brings me up to something that MLO and I were talking about in DMs the other day, because he has been he's like the ethos guy now, right?
Mhm.
And so him and I were talking, and um, saying, it's kind of like the way this space is shifting. It's kind of
Mhm.
like it's less on, because before, and I know I've heard it in a lot of, 'cause I try to catch all your streams you're on,
Oh,
as well as
thanks.
the ones you do. And one thing that I really, um, it's
Oh, we lost your
like,
cam.
hopefully you can still hear me. Yeah, I'll switch
I
it
can
up
hear
if
you.
that's
Yeah.
okay. Perfect. Is the fact that it used to be incentivized, like it's actually cost you money to be reputable, right? Because
Mhm.
like if you were a rugger, right? You make more money than a
Mhm.
reputable person, right? And
Right.
so it's actually time for the little guy, the honest guy, to win. The
Right.
way the space is moving, right? And
Mhm.
it's ICO always says it, and it's I'm really excited to see where the space is going to be at in six
Mhm.
months, a year, half a decade, a decade.
Totally.
Um, I'm really excited for it, especially in the ethos. I feel like is leading that charge.
Ethos is a long game, man. You gotta. I think a lot of people kind of view it in the short term, and we still have a bunch of people that are like, "Oh, but like, there's not enough. I haven't gotten enough allow lists yet, or I haven't gotten enough value out of it yet." And I'm like, "Yeah, fair, but like, I have to go prove to these teams that like the score is valuable, and that's not something that you just like snap your fingers and authentically say is true." And so we've been, I think I was on a podcast this morning and the guy was like, what is your 1 and 3 year vision? And you're like, man, I don't think most teams even know what the next 6 months look like for them most of the time. And like the 1 and 3 year vision is super clear to us exactly what we want to do, how we want to bring ethos scores to market, what use cases we want to enable with them, and how we break out of just CT. Like those things are very, very straightforward. Yeah, it's hard to have that kind of vision in this space a lot of the time, to be honest. Especially if you're more on the like willingness to chase metas side of the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to switch. I don't know what's going on with my my Nikon good camera. So luckily I have like 3 webcams sitting. So I just plugged my old one in and got
Nice,
it to work.
amazing.
Uh, Picture's probably not as good, but at least the lighting's all right. But
Looks great to me.
awesome. Thank you. And yeah, it's like I'm really glad. I know we've talked about it a lot in the past too, is I'm just really glad that, someone like yourself and your co-founder took the initiative to build out something that everyone knew was needed,
Mhm.
that I think no one could really figure out the right way to get it built. And it is really cool how like it does have so much of an overlap. And maybe it's just because of the way I see it and the way like I like perceive ethos and watched like when I joined and everything, it seems like there is a huge overlap. And like especially a lot of the early users did come from the same like niche, right? As
Totally, yeah.
fantasy. So
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it's people that, like when you first get started with a product, you're likely going to attract people around you the most. And yeah, like 710 and I come from the same kind of groups in a lot of ways. And yeah, I mean, it was CBB. We were in a private chat with like 30 people, and CBB was talking about what Travis was building. This was at the end of 2023, beginning of 2024. And that was Makesy was in that chat, and he was like, whoa, this is what friend tech was really supposed to be and all this stuff, and people are really excited about it. So yeah, I mean, we've been close, even though we haven't like worked directly together. Like we've been close in terms of our proximity and the people that use our products for a long time.
and that's what I remember. That's who in testnet ethos, that's who I got my invite from, was 710.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. And then luckily now I got my actual main net from you, which I
Mhm.
always flex that. Like when people are like, yeah, you see
Yeah,
and
there you
speaking
go.
of that, or go ahead.
No. That like people underrate like who they got their invites from sometimes, I think. And actually, I'm pretty sure I boosted your score pretty considerably.
Yep. Yep. And then I remember like I at the beginning, And it always was like, dang it, I'd get up there and then I'd have like it drop a little bit because we do the nurse. I'm like, wait, that's good though, because it means they're refining everything. And
Right.
then like I'd build it back up, and then it's to the point where like even the next few I still stayed above.
Mhm.
And then it's like I know we've talked about in the past too, is I feel like the more and more people that use it, the more and more people like really, really care about their score. Like
Yeah. I
my
mean,
score I would get tattooed on me. Like it's to the
yeah,
point where
I joked about having shirts that, like, had digital versions of your score on it.
so that'd be so cool.
Um, I mean, we could actually do I just started setting up a Shopify shop so people could, like, print on demand stuff, because I don't wanna manage inventory or anything like that, and it's not our business model.
Yeah.
Um, but I was thinking about that, and you're like, that'd be cool. Like, we just have, like, yeah, you get like 1943 or something in blue with the Ethos Blue logo on it, and you can only get whatever your score actually is at any
Yeah.
point in time. Um,
That'd be so cool.
but yeah, I've learned a lot. If you think about Ethos and like why everything is built and oriented like it is, whether it's incentives or how we talk about the product or use the product today, like we really needed to observe a lot in terms of human behavior. Like, it's really difficult to understand how humans would use a product like this, and thus we have really tried to observe really deeply how people think about their score or talk about their score. And we really early on, it was in March, I think, we made a change, and it just like wiped off like 100 150 points of everyone's score. And the people that really understood it, in my opinion, they were like, oh yeah, it makes sense why you would do this. Like, yeah, the score creep was getting a little crazy, and people that had too high of score were getting too much score. It was through upvoting. Like, you could just upvote people's reviews, and that would increase your score. And we're like, wait, we can't have that. And it was like 75 free score, basically. And we made a change, and it pissed everyone off. Like, everyone was talking about it. People DMing me, everyone was like, what the fuck happened? And I saw tweets that were like, I guess I'm not reputable anymore according to Ethos. And other people are like, oh, but it's a reputation and credibility platform, but my reputation only seems to go down. And you're like, okay, I get it. But like, we're doing this in the, like, everyone got adjusted, right? It's like grading on a curve. It's not that you got singled out, it's that everyone
Exactly.
did.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we would have never gotten it right. I mean, still don't have it right, the exact score science to it. There are going to be people that attack it and change it. We have to continuously adapt. But the one thing I feel good about, if you were to ask me if we had some sense of product market fit or not, it's like, well, when you change the score, people freak out. Like, that means they give a shit about their score, right? They give a shit about what it says about them. I'm now getting people, that are angry, and probably rightfully so, that are like, hey, you left me a negative review on Ethos because I spammed your Discord. Can you get rid of that, Serpin? Because now everyone asks me why the founder of Ethos wrote me a negative review. And you're like, well, you spammed our Discord. Like,
It's not like you wrote anything false.
right. Yeah. I mean, sure, we could talk about it, but like, and that means that both people care to check their own score and about their own score. And when they go look at someone else's score to interact, or they go look to interact with someone else, they're thinking about someone else's score. And it's quantitative, the score itself, but it's also qualitative. What is said? Who said it? Is it someone I know that said this thing about this person? And like the sword that I unfortunately carry is like, everyone knows me on the platform. So if I wrote a negative review for someone, it's not great. But yeah, it's been fascinating to see. But my big takeaway is like, people legitimately care about their score. And it's interesting and shocking a little bit to me, because I'm like, it's not like it gets you anything really right now, right? It's just this personal like belief in what your score is and why it should be that way, and that you've earned it and stuff like that. And I think that's a really powerful narrative to walk away with in terms of Ethos starting to show that's working.
And it's so recently my wife, she's been playing fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
but so she's been playing for about 6 months, and I finally got her into like to create because she had like a dummy account, which was
Mm-hmm.
like an old account that I'd made just when I lurked and didn't
Mm-hmm.
have like nothing. I was like, okay, I'll transition my old fantasy hour account. You can take it over if you like. You can actually like start interacting now.
Right.
And kind of talk to Vo about a little bit to help her come up with a name,
Mhm.
choose her PFP, all that stuff. And then it's Eva. What did she just end up going with? Eva Rich. But anyway,
Mhm.
she was sitting there and she's like, why do some people say uh I they can't see my tweets or whatever? I'm like, I bet it's because of ethos. And so I downloaded the thing and gave it to her, and she's like, she goes, I don't like being yellow. And I'm like, well, you got to build a reputation and start
Right.
explaining. She goes, oh, that's that stuff you were telling me about. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, you need to invite me. And like,
Yeah.
no joke. I told her, like, I'm like, I know you're reputable, honey, you're my wife, but I'm like, how would that affect me? Because you're so new. And she goes, are you kidding me? I'm like, okay, I'll invite you. I'll invite you. I still haven't invited her yet, but I will.
I
Honey,
mean, it
I'll
will
invite
boost
you.
her. It'll be a big score boost to her. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you have a new Twitter account, you're definitely at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's what I was
hurts.
thinking. And I was like, she's like, well, why are you thinking about that? I was like, well, because then we're tied, like, I'm tied to that forever on chain. And she goes, we're already tied together forever. And I
Yeah,
was like,
you're
It's
married.
different." I'm like,
That's funny.
yeah, I like to troll her about it a little bit, but no, I'm excited that she kind of like understood and then like
Mhm,
realized like I don't like this yellow thing. She was like just kind of talking to people in DMs, and a lot
mhm,
of people kind of been helping her too, like Ebom,
mhm,
who helped. He's part of the fantasy team as well. Very active within kind of the niche that we all are in. Same with AI Bruh, and
mhm.
a lot of people have been really welcoming, which I was kind of scared because especially with crypto Twitters, we both know can be very like not a
Hot.
welcoming place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
especially towards a
Or,
female. Yeah.
yeah. I think I looked at my, egg stats the other day, and, I think I have something like 94% male viewership. I mean, it's like it's pretty bad.
Yeah, like,
It's
I
pretty
think
bad,
mine's
actually.
pretty high too. It makes me wonder, like, what the actual percentage of crypto Twitter is male. Because like, what Bo does a lot, she does, like there's a lot of people that pretend to be females,
Mhm.
so I
Right.
wonder what the real percentage is,
It's gotta be
and I think
95%.
oh, it
Yeah,
has to be.
I think so.
Um, and I know it was on one of your I wanna say it was on one of your vibe coding sheets. You're like,
Mhm,
"How to do this," like, the T thing,
mhm, mhm.
and you're
Yeah,
uh,
Tethys,
like,
yeah.
how to become your, prove that you're a woman, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Um, yeah, that was kinda cool. Are you
Yeah,
still when you go ahead.
no one
Sorry.
on crypto Twitter would be able to do that unless they had a wife, and I
Yeah.
did finally get into it, which was nice. Uh,
That's so awesome.
but yeah, it is interesting. Or even like, yeah, I had a tweet about going to a thrift shop and finding something,
Yeah, I see
that,
that.
yeah, like most adults would know, but
Yep.
it was very clear most of my followers had no idea what was going on. And you're like, oh, that's kind of embarrassing, honestly. Like, if you don't know what this is, like, it's talking about being a dough beater or something. And I'm like, there's a
Yep.
different type of dough beating.
Yes, exactly. Like, I seen that tweet, and I pointed it to my wife, and she goes, uh she's like, "Serps posted that?" She's like I'm like, "Yeah, it's called shit posting." And she goes,
uh,
"Yeah." She goes and then she read the comments, she's like, "Man, are these people, like,
the
young? Or
clues.
they've not been
Yeah.
out? Like, are they sheltered?" She goes, "It's
Yeah.
pretty obvious what that is."
Yeah. 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 If you are over the age of 25, you should absolutely know. Um,
Yes.
But yeah, that's the test, the IQ test now. I feel like half of my posts these days are like IQ tests for people to see like if people are keeping up or not.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
and it's not like to dissuade anyone that doesn't have intelligence. It's actually a shot at the AI sloppers. Like,
Mhm.
you can immediately tell that like the slop has no idea what the context of what you're posting about. So maybe we'll go down further down a rabbit hole of like people shit posting is like a way to encoded talk to each other, and avoid AI slop.
Well, and that's what I told my wife, like, when she was posting at first, and, like, it's so weird because I literally see her posting, and I know it's her. I'm trying to teach her, and everyone keeps saying, like, "Be yourself," but I told her, like, "You" like, 'cause my wife's the kindest woman ever,
Mhm,
very motherly, but, like, has this, like, you don't like, mother bear type side to her. You don't mess with her family or nothing, but I was like, "Just be your quirky self that you normally are with just me and the kids,
mhm.
like that, but, but bring out your smart ass side, right?"
Right.
And then she's sitting there, and so she's doing that, right? And like being very articulate and all this stuff. And I was like, you sound like an AI bot. And she goes, "What?" I'm
That's
like,
pretty
"If I'm looking at this and I don't know you, I'm pretending, right? I don't know you. I'm like, you look like AI slop."
funny.
And she goes,
Yeah.
"W what? AI slop is like articulate?" I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much." Like, you
I,
sound too well written.
I noticed a few people that I know. I mean, Ethos helps you with this, but like that they've been called out as AI slot bots. I'm like, no, that's a real person. I don't like.
Yeah.
And I'm probably guilty of calling someone out that's not too. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, it's definitely, I didn't realize how hard it was to, like, or maybe I don't know if it's just stuff we take for granted that, like, trying to teach someone, like, I didn't really feel trying to teach her what CT was
Hmm.
other than just saying, "Hey, just watch what I'm doing."
Right.
And then I just realized it's a lot of questions to answer, and I was like, that's really hard to do too." So I'm just trying to write it out. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, because a lot of things don't make sense, right? That happens within CT, like the lingo, the
Hmm.
what the like, there's, like, an unwritten etiquette too.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I don't,
weird.
I'm probably showing my age a little bit, but I usually think about 4chan when I think about CT. And
Yes.
like slash v slash in 2008, 2009, 2010 was like this is actually how I learned about Bitcoin originally, but it was like the armpit of the internet. And like people were definitely more willing to say more ridiculous things, but like very similar like type of culture, I would say. Not quite Reddit. Like Reddit is very like kind of like progressive, a little more like upstanding of community values and stuff. Where like slash v slash was like full on degeneracy. I feel like CT is somewhere in between there, and I mean I like it for that reason, but uh, yeah, it's just it's sort of interesting to see how different subcultures of people interact, and you realize I guess that they become kind of echo chambers in a lot of ways. Like we end up in the same saying the same things to the same people, and we don't really grow when we don't break out of CT.
That's one thing actually that as the, like, academy lead, I've been well, first thing I'm trying to do is, like, really fine tune the academy, make it look more user friendly and not so cluttered and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but once that's complete and I feel like it's ready, it's definitely breaking out of CT. Like, I've been asking, like, Star Platinum, I'm gonna pick Men's Brain, like,
Hmm.
because the normies aren't in CT. Like, it's a prime example of my wife and even her friends, like, because we've onboarded, so I've onboarded my wife and probably like 6 people that are just normies that don't know anything about CT other than what they've kind of learned from their heroes and through like their little lurk accounts.
Hmm.
Um, but and then my wife's onboarded like her surgeons because she's a surgical nurse in the OBGYN.
Hmm.
She's onboarded more people and they just like they use TikTok more, they use
Right.
YouTube more, Instagram, and I feel like that's where we gotta reach
Hmm.
and try and bring them in. And
You know,
have you guys thought about that as well?
the point I was gonna make is like we had normies in Web3 in 2021 and 2022.
I
Like
don't know.
we had people buying NFTs that had no idea what an NFT was. I still remember like some of the earliest NFT. I mean, like Zedrun was an early NFT memory for me. I remember like minting a Zedrun horse driving my car stupidly. And it was super easy because it's on Polygon and like,
Oh
and I
yeah, it
made it.
was on Polygon. I remember.
And I made a bunch of money. I think I like 2x'd it instantly. And you're like, this is crazy. It's like crack, like free money. Like, and I remember watching like if you think about like the different art platforms that exist, like Super Rare is the main one, but like they had like I think it was Makers World. There was one that I can't remember now. There was one that was just random NFTs, and it was like they brought in different people, uh and I remember seeing like Pat Mahomes NFTs that like are absolutely fucking worthless today. Like, no way they have any value. And because they were the official Pat Mahomes, like, collection or whatever, people were happy to spend 10,000 or 15,000 or $20,000 on it. And you're like, we are not near the top until you see normies, in my opinion. And we had a period of over a year of seeing normies still. I don't think I think it was a perfect storm for crypto because everyone was at home and sitting at their computer and looking for other ways to make money. but I don't see normies yet. I don't see normies talking about things. And to be honest, like so long as they don't care, it's going to be hard to break into them. If you think about Fantasy Top and its ability to grow, like I actually think Fantasy Top would have to basically stop being anything about fantasy. I mean, about CT. It would have to be, hey, we now support you doing this on TikTok, and the top TikToks, 100 TikToks of this week get rewarded. Whoever played those cards got rewarded, kind of thing. And it's possible, and I'm sure they've thought about it plenty, but it can. I don't think you can wait for retail to come to you in crypto, because although normally in technology, when everything grows, all the businesses grow too, and you can wait for users to come to you. I don't know that the on-chain experience is 100% obvious to people yet, or even people are aware of. And I think the only way you can cross that chasm is if, again, Fantasy Top is basically completely obfuscated from the blockchain. More like, I don't know if you ever used Vive, but
Yeah, I
there was a,
did. Yeah.
yeah, like Vive was blockchain and no one knew it.
Yeah.
It was a shitty blockchain. I didn't even remember it was built
Yeah.
on
I
Cardano
don't
or
even know what it
something.
was built on either, but it was, if it's the right thing, it's like that you would mint like Spider-Man NFTs and Mickey Mouse NFTs and stuff, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, make sure I was thinking of the right thing. But yeah, it was um yeah, it was definitely, I didn't even realize that was actually blockchain actually.
Yeah,
I
it,
was
it
just kind of
was,
playing around with it.
I
But
think
yeah,
it was Cardano on the back end. I have to
oh
look
no,
at that.
you're telling me I used the Cardano.
Yeah, no, seriously. I gotta look this up now so I'm not lying to people.
Yeah.
Um,
Now that you say it, I remember like towards the end of using it, I was like, man, if this, I remember just saying something. I was like, man, I can't believe this isn't blockchain tech. And someone's like, it is. And I was like, oh, wow, I've been using it this whole time and I didn't realize it was.
yeah, and
I
most
was using
people
that
were,
in tandem.
yeah, Vive, yeah, they receive, I just said that they use blockchain. It doesn't say which. Hold on, I'll figure it out. As we're talking. But yeah, I mean, that was ended up being most of a cash grab if you look back at Vive. But I felt like Vive was actually what I observed is, so I was running this Pokemon group at the time and still do, but in 2020, 2021. And there were a bunch of us who flipped over to crypto because it was really interesting and there was a lot of money to be made. And there was also this people that were kind of like halfway between like I want to do crypto and not, and they were interested in like collectibles and NFTs and stuff like that, but they weren't ready to like jump the full course. And so Vive was actually one of those places that they went of like, oh well, I understand Disney, I understand Marvel, I understand like Spider-Man, so yeah, I'll buy an NFT. And I think looking back, there was a lesson in the fact that no one knew it was blockchain, and that being a big part of how it's successful.
And that's, I feel like that really is going to be the way most people are onboarded, is not knowing. And I feel like that's kind of what like base
Mm.
apps trying to do, if I'm not mistaken. Um, at least that's their goal. I think that's a lot of people's goals, right? Like as the
Mhm.
consumer chain, which there's quite a few of them uh, going for it. But uh, which makes me think, and this is completely random. So you're built on base right now, Ethos is. Is
Mhm.
that like have you been in talks with like Jesse or anything? Like are you on the base app yet?
We aren't in the base app. The base app is it's driven by like Farcaster apps, if I remember correctly. And we just, to be honest, there's not that much demand for it. It might open some doors for us. I like the base app, but I haven't spent a lot of time. It's not just not my central hub for things. Um, I don't love the implementation, if I'm being totally honest. I feel like iframes are very 2015 and they're like 2010. And I have felt that way about Farcaster frames for a very long time too. It's just not a good way to integrate things. Um, on the other hand, yeah, I mean, talk to Jesse, and there are some. We've had some conversations about how Ethos could integrate into the base app beyond like an app being integrated. That I think is interesting, but nothing solid there yet. Just like clear that there is a need for the products that we build in their app too, potentially.
Absolutely, 'cause that's what I was kind of thinking is like when it comes to reputation, which I feel like is going to be a must,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to security, trust,
Mhm.
just anything, right? It's and
If
plus
you
that's really cool. Like, or go ahead, and then I'll say
Well,
my stuff.
I was gonna say, so Saigar had tweeted a couple months ago about like on Abstract the need for ethos scores in for apps and for people like people launching
Yeah.
meme coins and people launching apps and stuff. And I think other teams have started to catch on to the benefit of that. If you think about like in I'm not going to speak for Abstract here, but if you think about it, if you put yourself in Abstract shoes, and there was a period of time where a couple of bad things happened on Abstract that people lost money on, if you're trying to be the consumer chain, then like, what do you value? What how do you how do you help your consumer not get scammed? Like, if your consumer gets scammed on the first day that they use the product, that sucks for them, right? They'll never come back. They'll never use your product again. If your consumer purchasing depends on trust, and so I think you'll see some of the more consumer focused products start to have more interest in ethos and ethos scores, judging by the conversations I've had so far, just because that helps everyone with consumer confidence. Like you choose the fantasy top app because it has a very good rating on ethos, as opposed to choosing some other app that is in fact been called out several times. There's a lot of opportunity there, and yeah, I feel optimistic about that. But again, we're playing a long game here.
'Cause I think uh, what made me think about that when because of like the V thing and not knowing it's blockchain and just going down that rabbit hole got me
Mhm.
thinking that like Ethos is easily able to like demand wise hit like every chain, be
Mhm.
very multi-chain. Um,
I did
and
I did find real quick. It was on Go Chain.
okay, on what?
Go Chain. I had no
I
idea
have
what it
no
is.
clue what that is.
Yeah, apparently they switched to Mutable X, but they were originally on something called Go Chain. Anyway, sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, okay. So we have just listen fancy here, and then also forgot to switch accounts. Okay, so 710's posted the thing, which is thank you 710. Yeah.
What did you do?
And, oh, he reshared the
Oh.
post. Get it out there. Yeah, no, because I seen that he said I forgot to switch, and then I read above and kind of noticed it. But yeah, that's weird. And then I seen that like so Nevly fans going on that like Go Chain thing.
Mhm.
He's I actually found him through fantasy as well, kind of like in the academy, like content role before it was official.
Mhm.
7 to 10 and I were kind of just like looking out for more like creators that maybe hadn't that had talked about fantasy and stuff, just weren't like doing it as often as others, or maybe flew under the radar. And Nevly was one of them, big time. The more I learn about him, he knows he's definitely been around in the YouTube, Web 2, Web 3 world a lot. But he
Mhm.
had just said, made a post that a few months back that got like the attention of like CZ and a few other big names, and it was about like there's been like 16,000 blockchains, and like there's more being created all the time, and how many of those have no one even used, and they all officially have like or potentially say they had like all these millions of users, right?
Mhm.
And that just made me think of that when like the Go chain. So we were
Mhm.
both using an app that one I didn't know it was on blockchain, but assumed it should have been.
Mhm.
You knew it was on the blockchain, and then but neither of us knew which blockchain, right? So that is kind of what is needed, right?
Very telling of the space right now, right? Yeah, and yeah, I figured out. So GoChain was one of it, and Ecomi or Omi token was the other one that they were on, and that has a market cap of 55 million right now. So it looks like a rug in the chart.
Oh,
But
dear.
that was the one that they were really pushing hard on. And yeah, I remember people like using it was like a red O, and they would use it in their like names, and because they believed in this Omi token so much. And the reality was it was a way for people to rug the token, in my opinion, the founders to make money off of the token. Like Vive basically died and no one cares about it. And so now they had a token that was crazy high float still. Anyways, uh, it is fascinating to look back on some of these things. because you realize that everything is sort of ephemeral. Like everything is sort of fleeting in a lot of ways. And it sucks that it's like that. It's sort of the reality of it. At the end of the day, when it comes to infrastructure, to your point, like, okay, let me take a step back. Like, did you ever wonder what StreamYard is using that we're streaming on? Do you
Absolutely.
care if they're using AWS or Google Cloud, or if they're using some other hosting system? Why would you care?
As
You
long
don't
as it
care.
works.
Yeah, as long as it works, right? And you're like, as a in the 80s and the 90s on computers, people cared about like, oh, what was it running on? Like, you got pitched these marketing terms of like, how much megahertz something had, and like when you're using something locally, it really mattered. But like, you didn't care about infrastructure that something else was running on. And as consumers in Web3, we have this like distorted belief that we should care about the layer 2 or the layer 1 that we're built on top of. And we shouldn't. I think that's bullshit. Like, consumer doesn't care. Why would a consumer care about AWS? They don't. And so like when I think about, I'll give you a good example. Like it does affect businesses. You think about Fantasy Topping on Blast versus Base. Well, there's a liquidity difference, right? We will continue to push down and understand better that there is very little value other than liquidity to being on a particular chain. And even when it comes to liquidity, it will become more obvious over the next few years that actually there will be enough obfuscation of liquidity itself, meaning the liquidity doesn't necessarily even have to be on base chain or blast or whatever, that like you can just put money in Fantasy Top. You don't even think about what chain it was or how it got there or how fast it resolved or how many TPS it was. You don't give a shit. And we've been fed this like nonsense, in my opinion, about, oh, I think 10,000 TPS matters. You're like, well, it only matters if there's enough demand for it too.
Yeah.
So anyways, long sort of rant about like, yeah, your infrastructure doesn't matter. The only real place that it could matter is more along the lines of how much liquidity you have access to. And but when I think about ethos or even Fantasy Top, like Fantasy Top is hinged to base, but the reality is like it doesn't depend on base in any way. Same thing with ethos. Like we view ourselves more as infrastructure that goes across the social layer, and less specific to any given chain. Why would we care about any particular chain? Anyways, long rant, but like rant over, I guess.
Well, and it makes sense too because even on uh like Blast, when Fantasy was on Blast, there was like Blast. Everyone assumed everything on Blast was, dead, unalive, whatever. Just not no liquidity. But as you've seen when Fantasy left Blast, is then it really was. There was no liquidity.
Mhm.
No one cared that it was on Blast, right?
Right.
No one talked about it. It was just, and you didn't even know it was on Blast really because you could use, especially when they integrated their own relay bridge. When Fantasy
Mhm.
put that relay bridge in, it didn't matter because you could send that ETH from anywhere, from Solana, from Base, from your credit card, anywhere, and so I think it's definitely heading in the right direction.
Mhm.
Um, and I really think it'll start ramping up. I'm really excited to see where we're at in the next 6 months, next year, next 5 years. I think it's going to be a much different thing, just because like how much the space has changed in the last year alone
Mhm.
has been all for the
I agree.
better. I feel like.
I tell that to our dev team when we're building stuff. You're like smart wallets or the ability to transact without having to sign a transaction. The ability for Privy to exist. Like Privy wasn't around. It was like 2 years ago when Privy got really, in like Friendtech was the original Privy application, in my opinion. Even from a building perspective, everything is so much easier now than it was. And we're entering the golden age of building for sure. It's just a matter of if there are enough customers to buy stuff or if there's enough applicable products that people need to solve problems with. People problems to be solved basically through applications. I just don't know if there are enough right now.
And that's the Privy thing is definitely because I tried onboarding my wife, my brother, like my best friend, multiple times onto the blockchain since
Mhm.
like 2018. Definitely really big in 2021, 2022, and they were like, no, it's like I'd get them on, and then they'd have to they would have like I wanted to sign all this stuff, and then I had to like tell them about security, and they're like, well, is there any way to tell that it's a bad one? I was like, well, not really. You just got to try to pay attention and not click
Mhm,
anything.
mhm.
I'm like, but then also anything that might be too good to be true might not actually be too good.
Right,
And they're like, this is too confusing. There's too much risk. No. But then when like fantasy was the perfect way to get them onboarded because they used privy, they used like it just they didn't have as much stress, right? They don't have to. They can sit there and use the app without signing anything really. They just have to hit
right.
confirm, open a pack. It's way easier, which is really cool. And then um, I wanted to ask you another question. We're here. We'll probably wrap here shortly. But because I forgot to ask it earlier when we were talking about your decks. So we know you're playing your elite deck, which I really think. I wish there was a prediction market for uh, in the
Mm,
next couple weeks if you're gonna take top spot, which I think you will.
mhm.
That deck's looking good, especially with
If I keep
legendary
posting,
Kalia.
if I keep,
Yeah,
yeah, well, if I keep like, I feel like that's a wild card. No one else has the card, and if
there's
I
only
have
one.
control over it, yeah, then um, that I have a unique advantage over anyone else. So
I have feeling Otto's gonna go for it. But are you only going in elite? Or are you still playing? And 'cause I know when we
I
had
played
doing the
it.
deck
I
building
put a
series, you're playing other ones.
Yeah, I put I always try to use all of the cards that I have up.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't think I'm as competitive. Otto is trying to get me to set up a deck for some of the other ones, and I'm like, I'm happy to like compete in the top tourney and hopefully place well there, kind of thing.
Well, and because like a lot, especially with like a lot of the people we have on the deck building series and stuff. Um, you're a founder. You're very busy. You know, you're on spaces, live streams, podcasts very often,
Hmm.
um, as well as doing everything you're doing within Ethos, as well as your own streams. Um, there's that kind of makes sense, right? That's how John Wang was this last week.
Hmm.
That's how Merp's going to be when he comes on this next week. Is they just come on that we help them put in that one deck that they use their legendary. They can just set it and forget it each week. Um, and then you have the outliers like Clemente and Easy that want to kind of put a little more time and effort into it. But so it's nice to see too. But it's primarily just get the it's in my eyes it'd be perfect to have every hero play their one deck every week at least. Um,
Yep.
at
Right.
least that's my goal.
Yeah.
It would be really cool.
I feel like
But like,
that has to be the case. That's yeah. You got to. It has to get in the
yep,
game.
yep, absolutely. And thank you so much for your time as always. Like I
Yeah.
said before, I always love hopping on with you. Super lax
Easy
and a
conversation.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
lots of good stuff to cover too. So works out
Hmm.
perfect.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of good clips will be made out of this too. We kind of covered a long range of from ethos to fantasy to the space in general.
Yeah.
It's a lot
there's
of fun.
there's some good stuff that I covered that I like ranted about for a while. So
Yep.
that'd be good.
Yes, it's gonna be awesome. Like I said, I'm after the two streams today. I'm definitely gonna put my clipping hat back on and make some clips over the next couple days. So I think I don't think I have a stream until Thursday. Yeah, so I got a few days off. I'll just clip. Well, not really off. I have to do the academy stuff, but for streaming anyways. But yeah, thank you so much, Serp. And are you on any more streams today?
I'm gonna do some vibe coding in an hour. I didn't announce it yet, but I probably will in the next
Okay, sweet.
minutes. Yeah.
That's kind of what I didn't want to throw it out under the bus in case you weren't doing it, but that's what's
No,
kind of fun.
I
So
got
like
you.
to
I
check
just
it.
gotta. I'm working on making NFT inspect on. I'm remaking NFT
Oh
inspect.
yeah,
Yeah.
heck yeah.
So I'll
Yep,
probably do
I'm
that.
excited.
Yeah, I need
Perfect.
some
I
more
like
chat.
catching them live.
It's
More caffeine. Yeah.
It's fun, but I need people to chat with in the chat. The chat isn't lively enough. I need people to like tell me I'm doing something stupid or engage with me in some way. I like to like interact with the chat. So
Yep. Perfect. I'll get my wife and I both in the chat today, so you'll have both of us
there you
in
go.
there.
Love it. Yeah. If you say something in the chat, I will reply to it. Period. So
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, definitely. Yeah. So anyone that's watching in an hour, so it'll be 4 p.m. Eastern. Surf will be live. So go in there, flip him some shit, talk to him. I'll be there as well. Not on the stream, but I'll be talking crap to him to make sure he stays awake in vibe codes. So thank you so much, sir.
yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Catch you on timeline. Bye.
See ya.